Welcome back to part 2 of the Newbie E-Cig experience, or why the hell am I watching this guy? So, vapor production. Alright, let's get into it. The M601. As you can see on the end, this atomizer is quite large, quite wide, the bridge. Which this bridge that they call it, that's the actual heating element that gets hot and vaporizes the liquid in the cartridge. But it is quite big, which is good, and the battery life really sucks. Yes, I will say that it feels more like a cigarette, however it does way more than a cigarette, so technically it'll never really be like a real cigarette. You'll always know that this is an e-cig and not a real cigarette. Plus, you're not inhaling all that garbage, this 4,000 chemicals from an analog cigarette that you do in this. This is one of the reasons why I decided to go with the e-cig. However, vapor production. Get right into it. Okay, I think I killed about 20 mosquitoes. Anyway, vapor production, really nice, okay? If you're just starting out, this may be an option for you to get. However, by the time you watch these videos, you may not. You may decide to get the Joey Ego or the 510. Now, why do I say or? Because the atomizer is the standard 510 atomizer. It has the element inside that gets hot, and you can see sort of that this element is much smaller than on the 601, but again, don't let that fool you, because this little puppy really cooks. Alright. So, the Joey Ego vapor production. Screw it back in here. Alright, killed another 20 mosquitoes. Alright. So, basically vapor production is really good with this. I would have to say that between these two, vapor production is better on the M601 than it is on the Ego. However, what makes this a superior product is that the M601, it doesn't really bring out the flavors, and it doesn't have the throat hit that this thing does. Okay, this thing will really hit hard, sometimes so hard that, you know, I get indigestion. Okay, that's just my e-juice, that's the way I made it. But this thing hits pretty hard, but vapor production is on par, I would say, but this is probably a little better. So, atomizers. Well, let me go back for a minute. If you're looking for an e-cig that smokes like a beast and you want to impress your friends with how big of a vapor cloud you can produce and how many planes you can knock out of freaking the sky, then you might want to think about getting the M601 and, you know, with its huge atomizer, or get an adapter from Electronic Cigs that will allow you to put that atomizer on the Ego batteries. Anyway, atomizers. When I first got the Joey Ego, I was very upset with my order. I was very upset with the atomizer. It did not produce nearly enough vapor for me. There was hardly any throat hit. and there was no flavor. It was really bad. Okay, now when I received the product from Signot, it came with a slip that said, you know, this thing's got to break in. It tells you how to do it. Drop, you know, put drops on the element, blah blah blah, and you'll see if you ever order one. Anyway, I did all of that. However, it did take a day or two for this thing to really brighten up and become a vapor, flavor, throat hit monster that it is now. So when you first order it, you may be disappointed. Just letting you know, give it a little bit, let the atomizers break in, and it will get better. Okay. Now, another question I had when I first started out was, why do I see these people, you know, taking 2 and 3 drags off of these things and then blowing out this big vapor cloud? Well, the reason is that you have to let the atomizers heat up. The first hit usually just warms it up, gives you a little tiny hit. Example. Alright, hardly nothing, but the element gets hot. By the second hit, alright, the throat hit is there, vapor production is there, and flavor is there. 3 hits, well, then obviously it's going to get more and more. Okay, so again, this isn't an analog cigarette. Analog cigarettes, their filters are very open, airied. You can inhale it once and you get that you know, the smoke into you rather quickly. These, like I said, you have to let the atomizer heat up, so that's why you're going to do the, you know, 2-3 drag thing on these. Some people say, you might read, well, you know, you inhale these really quick and blow it out. Now, I didn't do that. I don't recommend doing that, because then you're basically just blowing out all the nicotine that you want to take in. So just smoke it like a regular cigarette, except know that you have to wait for the element to get hot. Alright, E-Juice. My E-Juice is blue, yes. When I ordered from Extreme Vaping, they sent me, I ordered the 50 milligram. As you see in the front of this video, I give you my mix of all the juices that I'm using in all these videos. This is it. And it's clear. Well, the problem I had was, when it's clear, the polyfill, the pyramid teabag mods, whatever it is that you're using, is white. So a clear liquid is kind of hard to tell how much you have left in the cartridge just by looking at it. I dropped 1 drop of food coloring in here. Now it's blue. Great contrast for white. I can tell that this is low just by glancing at my cartridge. I know whether there's E-Juice in there or not. So that's why I made it blue. Okay, but anyway, besides that, E-Juice is important. VG, okay? VG, everybody. VG, VG. Learn it, love it, live it, okay? VG juice will vape much better than PG juice. Anything you order from China or anywhere else is probably going to be PG by default, unless you specify you want VG liquid. I went to my local Rite Aid, CVS, Walgreens, whatever pharmacy you have, and I got a huge bottle of the vegetable glycerin. It was like $2, and it'll last me for a very long time to use to cut this with. Another newbie thing: learn how to cut your own juice. You're gonna save money. You're gonna pay a lot less per bottle. If I had to calculate this 20 milliliter bottle, I would say I probably paid around $4 for it, $4 or $5. where if I ordered this in a 30 milliliter bottle, which is only 10 milliliters more, it would have cost me around 20. So mix your own, okay? Learn how to do it. There's calculators out there that will, E-Cig Review has one that will show you how to cut this stuff, and you know, it just makes life a lot easier. It seems hard at first, but learn it, love it, live it. You'll enjoy it. Now, the other thing, like I said, I wasn't happy with the menthol that came with this, but I've learned since then that menthol crystals are the way to go. So I'm going to, my new batch, make it with menthol crystals that I can get from, I don't remember the website. It's at the end. I'll put it at the end of the video. What else can I say about this? Oh, cutting it. I use a 6% water vodka / whatever. Well, what has really given me great throat hit, and this was a suggestion by Vicky, thank you Vicky, was Bacardi 151. She says the throat hit is really nice with Bacardi 151. I have used Captain Morgan rum because I had it and I figured, well, what the hell. I used vodka and it didn't quite work well for me. I didn't get the throat hit I wanted. Put the Captain Morgan rum in there and I was sweet. It was sweet, okay? So that's just my experience. Anyway, so what else can I say about e-juice? VG, man, VG. That's just the way to go. Okay, thin it out a little bit. You know, add your flavoring, do your calculation with the e-calculator, and your life will be so much better. Cartridges. Okay, the cartridge that comes with the Ego /510 looks like this. It has a cap in the end. If you bite this, that cap will pop off, okay? And then you'll have a disc inside that you'll end up sucking in as well and getting that in your mouth. Leave this stuff in there, okay? The reason being is that what happens is if those come out and you're like, well, it came out, I might as well just leave it out. Well, what happens is as you can see, there's kind of some moisture around the outside of this where the air holes are. Well, you end up sucking that into your mouth, and nobody likes e-juice in their mouth. It just tastes nasty. Don't glue this together because, you know, then you'll super glue your lips together and you just look like a retard. So that's the cartridge for the 510. The cartridge for the 601, and hopefully you won't buy a 601, but if you do, know this, that there's an inner cartridge in here, very tiny, okay, very tiny. Probably get 6 drops in this thing, and that's about it. With the polyfill or the pyramid teabag mod that you do, whatever, you're gonna get 6 drops into this thing. All right, doesn't last long at all, so you have to carry a lot more of these around with you. These 12 to 15 drops depending on the mod that you've done or the polyfill. Anyway, I'll show you my modified shredded pyramid teabag mod in the next video, but anyway, these cartridges last a lot longer, and like I said, don't take them apart, just leave it together. Drip tips. Well, I haven't had a whole lot of experience with drip tips. I have had, you know, I have taken this out, drops right onto the element, bridge, whatever you want to call it, inside there, and then I've used an open cartridge and smoked it. Oh, time's up. Well, in our next video I'll get a little bit more into that, and I'll get into my shredded teabag mod and the kit that you should carry around with you. Thanks for watching.